All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're getting a little fragrant, I guess you could say. We're taking a deep dive into a career guide, get this, for perfume production machine operators.
Perfume Production Machine Operators, huh?
Yeah, not exactly the most glamorous sounding title, is it? But trust me, this guide was actually surprisingly fascinating. It's not just like pushing buttons, you know.
Right, right. I mean, when you hear that, you don't exactly picture someone like surrounded by these amazing smells, using all their senses. You think like factory.
Exactly. But it turns out there's this whole blend of like artistry and science and technology involved.
It's like, what even a high S that job, right? Like,
Yeah.
what do they do all day?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But this guide actually breaks it down.
Yeah.
So imagine you're at a party and someone asks what you do. And you say, well, I calibrate machines that blend volatile fragrance compounds.
Okay, yeah, that's a little different.
Right. Way more interesting than just saying, I work with perfume.
Definitely. I mean, you're basically talking about the actual chemistry of scent, right?
Exactly. And that's a big part of what these machine operators do. They need a solid grasp of chemistry to work with all those ingredients.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. You're talking about analyzing the chemical compositions, understanding how all those different scents interact, like on a molecular level.
Whoa.
Right. And then on top of that, you've got to make sure that the final product, the perfume, matches the perfumer's vision perfectly. It's a huge responsibility.
It's like you're responsible for that perfect balance, right?
Yeah.
Like you mess up the top notes of jasmine with the base notes of sandalwood, and boom, you've ruined the whole thing.
Exactly. It's an art and a science. And speaking of art, did you see the part in the guide about career progression? You can actually specialize in fragrance evaluation.
Wait, hold on. As in like professionally smelling things?
Yep. They're called fragrance evaluation specialists.
I have so many questions. Like, do they have like a special handshake or something?
Maybe. But seriously, they have incredibly sensitive noses, highly trained. They evaluate each batch of perfume to make sure it meets, like, the exact olfactory standards. It's actually a pretty big deal.
Wow. Okay, so we've got these really cool career paths, right?
Yeah.
But how do you actually land your dream job in the perfume world? And that's where this whole RoleCatcher thing comes in,
The
right?
RoleCatcher, yeah, this is where things get really interesting. They're using AI to completely change how we find jobs.
It sounds like something out of the future, right?
Totally. And the thing is, it's not just for people looking for jobs, it's for employers too. So imagine a platform that takes a job description, like for our perfume production machine operator, and it figures out exactly what skills and experience someone needs to be successful.
So instead of just like throwing your resume out there and hoping for the best,
Yeah.
this platform connects you with companies that are actually looking for your specific skill set.
Exactly. It's about making those ideal matches. And get this, they even have AI-powered interview practice.
Wait, what? It's like having a personal job coach, but instead of paying them a fortune, it's all like algorithms and stuff.
Exactly. You can practice your answers, get feedback on how you come across. It even analyzes your responses and tells you how to improve, like a mock interview, but with expert analysis.
Wow, that's amazing. Especially if you're someone who gets like totally nervous during interviews. It's like having a secret weapon. But there's another side of this whole technology thing, isn't there?
You're right. It's not just about finding the job. It's about what happens once you're actually in that job and what it might look like in the future. This guide actually brings up a really important point about automation and how it's already changing things in the perfume industry, especially for those machine operators.
Just like, are the robots going to be mixing our perfumes for us now?
Well, not exactly. I mean, it's easy to think about automation replacing jobs completely, but a lot of times it's more about changing how we work.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So instead of like eliminating the perfume production machine operator role entirely, automation might actually shift the focus, towards more overseeing these complex systems, ensuring quality control at a much higher level.
So less hands-on with the actual mixing, more like the mastermind behind the scenes.
Exactly. Like instead of physically adjusting all those valves and levers, they'd be monitoring the automated processes, troubleshooting any issues using data analysis, basically making sure those machines are producing the fragrance perfectly every single time.
Wow, so it's almost like the role becomes even more technical.
Right? Exactly. And that means the skills needed are going to change too. The guy even talks about these operators needing to understand computer programming, data analysis, even robotics.
It's crazy how this deep dive started with like perfume, and now we're talking about like the future of work.
It's all connected.
Totally. But, okay, so we've talked about the industry, but what about, us, like the people who actually wear the perfume? How might this all change things for us?
You're right. It always comes back to the consumer. I mean, imagine a world where AI can create personalized scents, like based on your preferences, your skin's pH, even the climate you live in.
Hold on, seriously.
Yeah.
Like custom perfume designed by an algorithm that's, I don't know, kind of creepy, but also really cool.
Right. It makes you think, will this be the new normal? Will AI-generated perfumes be everywhere? And what does that mean for, that human touch? Will we lose that artistry? Or could this actually make things even more interesting? Could we see even more unique, innovative fragrances because of this technology?
Okay, now my mind is officially blown. I have to say, when I saw Perfume Production Machine Operator, I did not think we'd be discussing AI-designed scents. But this is why I love these deep dives.
Me too. You never know where you're going to end up. We start with this very specific job title and end up talking about huge trends in technology, careers, even art.
And speaking of connections, let's bring it back to RoleCatcher for a sec. This whole platform, this AI approach, it's bigger than just perfume, right?
Well, absolutely. It speaks to a huge shift happening across all industries. I mean, AI and automation are changing how we find jobs, the skills we need. It's a whole new world.
It's like we're all becoming machine operators in a way, right? Like learning how to use these technologies, work with them.
In a way, yeah.
Which makes me wonder, in this world where AI is becoming so important to our careers, what skills are going to be most valuable in the future? Like, what can WE do that AI can't?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it might sound kind of cliche, but I think a good place to start is looking at the things AI can't replicate. At least, not yet.
It's funny. We always come back to that classic sci-fi idea, like the robots can do all the technical stuff, but they can't replicate human creativity, right? Or our intuition, our empathy. That's what makes us, well, human.
Exactly. And those uniquely huge skills, they become even more important in a field like perfumery because so much of it relies on sensory experience, on emotional connection. Can an algorithm really understand what it's like to smell a scent and be taken back to your childhood? Or capture the feeling of a season?
It's like when you try to describe a smell to someone who's never experienced it. You can list all the ingredients, talk about how it makes you feel, but nothing compares to that actual sensory experience.
Exactly. So while AI is definitely going to be a huge part of the future of work, don't underestimate those human-centric skills. Things like critical thinking, emotional intelligence, adaptability, and of course, creativity. Those are going to be so important, not just in the perfume industry, but everywhere.
It's a good reminder that even though technology is changing so much, it's still our human capacity for creativity, for connection, for thinking critically that's going to be the most valuable thing. It's like we've gone down this rabbit hole of perfume production and come out with this whole new understanding of the industry.
And that's the beauty of these deep dives, right? We go in thinking we know a thing or two about perfume, something, pretty simple, just a nice smell.
Right. Like, how complicated can it be?
Exactly. But then we uncover all these layers. It's not just about the sensory experience. It's science, it's technology, it's human skill, all working together.
It really makes you appreciate that bottle of perfume on your dresser a little bit more, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a reminder that even the things we might consider luxury items, everyday luxuries, often have these incredibly complex stories behind them.
It's true. I mean, I never would have thought about things like molecular chemistry or artificial intelligence when I sprayed on my perfume this morning. But now I can't stop thinking about it.
And who knows what the future holds, right? Imagine a world where AI isn't just creating those personalized scents we talked about, but actually helping perfumers come up with completely new fragrances, scents we haven't even dreamed of.
It's like AI being used in art and music, right? Like, it's not about replacing the artist. It's about giving them these incredible new tools.
Exactly. It's all about collaboration, this amazing synergy between human creativity and the power of technology. It's pushing those boundaries, seeing what's possible.
Honestly, my mind is blown. We started with Perfume Production Machine Operators, and now we're talking about, like, the future of fragrance.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? There's always more to learn, more to explore, even in the most unexpected places.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to everyone listening, if you thought perfume was just about, smelling good, I hope this deep dive has given you a whole new perspective.
It's a fascinating world, blending art, science, technology, and at the end of the day, it's really that human touch that makes all the difference.
So true. Well, thank you for joining us on this olfactory adventure. Remember, sometimes the most amazing discoveries come from the things we least expect.